from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Friday, April 28th. So today we're going to have the moon in Leo all day. Of course, we just had our first quarter moon in Leo pop off late last evening, which definitely put us in a situation to get real and raw and vulnerable, heart-led with ourselves, identifying who it is that we now are, what it is that we stand for, what it is that is going to make us happy. And of course, a lot of those realizations came out of frustration, out of tension, out of conflict. We haven't cleared this particular energy yet. We are halfway through the eclipse season. This is a pivotal point on where it is that we are still looking back, reflecting on what isn't working for us in order to illuminate us to what will work for us. We have to come up, conjure up a new vision, a new dream, a new path, a new passion, a new pursuit of happiness. And of course, being in Leo energy, the heart and soul of the zodiac, it is going to require us to be bold, brave, courageous, to stand in a brand new spot, a brand new territory, a brand new path and direction, and be bold and brave and courageous enough to actually walk that path, regardless of whether or not we know where it is actually going to lead. So the moon in Leo is definitely activating a lot of energy in our heart chakra. And we have 7 different aspects here today. All 7 of them involve the moon, which means that we are having a moon day, a highly emotional day where we are going to attempt to get our heart and our head on the same page. Fridays are ruled over by Venus, of course, and so we are seeing that extra layer of intensity on our heart space to figure out who and what needs to stay, needs to go. And of course, all revolving around providing us with safety, security, stability, happiness, joy, and pleasure. And again, recognizing right now where it is that we are not experiencing those things, those topics and themes in our lives, and of course, forcing us away from a particular path and direction and pushing us into brand new territory. So let that heart space lead. The moon in Leo will first interact with Neptune in Pisces energy, very emotional, very healing, very cleansing, very creative, very dreamy. Now, we are having a little bit of a disconnect with our intuition at this time. Of course, we're in eclipse season, we're in retrograde season. The flashes of being in alignment come very, very quickly and then dissipate just as quick. The moon in Leo does kind of have us focus more on our egoic selves, while the Neptune and Pisces energy has us more concerned of our intuition, of our dreams, of our vision, of our creativity, of, the metaphysical world, the spiritual realm. But of course, there is a disconnect. We're not on the same page here. We're attempting to get on the same page, but we have some wounds that need to be healed before we're going to really embody the qualities and characteristics of Leo the lion and be bold and brave and courageous enough to leave the old behind and to venture into a new path, a new territory where we absolutely have no clue what awaits us. The moon will get into the boxing ring with Mercury, ruler of the mental plane. This is our heart and our head, getting into the boxing ring and fighting it out. We are recognizing the distance between our heart and our head, and we are attempting to minimize that gap. Mercury being in this Taurus energy, of course, retrograde has us in a very reflective mode, taking a good look, analyzing our physical realms, what it is that we've given birth to, what it is that we've already created, and of course, leaning into our heart space, recognizing whether or not that still fulfills us or not. Whether it is kind of quenching that satisfaction, that contentment that we really need to reach in order to actually reach new levels of happiness, pleasure, and joy. Of course, this isn't going to feel good. This isn't going to be a good vibe because it's a square. It's a tension point. It's a conflict. We need to see how far our heart and our head are apart from each other in order to attempt to bring them closer together. The moon will trine, which is a beautiful energy, with Chiron shortly after, and this does suggest that we are making a little bit of progress in identifying that gap, that distance between our heart and our head. Even more than that, identifying the wounds that are still alive and well, blocking us from bringing our heart and head into alignment. We are recognizing what we have to feel in order to heal. We're recognizing the growth. We're recognizing the little bit of progress that we are making in identifying who it is that we now are, now that we've left some of that emotional baggage at the door in the past where it belongs. So there is some kind of growth taking place, some realizations taking place, some, I'm going to say, scripts being flipped in our mental plane that, of course, have an impact on our heart space that is kind of boosting us up, preparing us to actually move forward. The moon in Leo will be interacting with Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, even our anger. And in this Cancer energy that isn't so fun, isn't so happy, we are definitely ebbing and flowing with what it is that we need to feel safe and secure in our lives, especially emotionally, where our home and our family is concerned. Mars, again, not in his most favorable spot here in this Cancer energy. And let me just say that this could manifest in a couple of different ways. This particular interaction is a choice point, is a crossroads, an opportunity to see a different path, a different direction, based off of what it is that we have recognized within our lives is being tested, especially where boundaries are being tested, especially where the lack of boundaries are being kind of illuminated. Because, of course, in the Cancer energy, we're focused on what it is that we have to do to provide safety, security, and stability to our lives, especially in our emotional realm, especially with what it is that we need to take care of ourselves. That nurturing energy coming from that Cancer energy is definitely shifting us into a different path of recognizing need versus want. The moon is going to square off with Uranus, the great awakener, who normally provides us with a little bit of a breakthrough energy, a little bit of an aha moment, a little bit of a realization. However, this is a square. This is a tension point. So we are likely going to be pretty stubborn with recognizing where it is that we need to change. Of course, this Uranian energy is pushing for change, but in the Taurus energy that Uranus has been in for quite some time, we're in a fixed sign, we're in a fixed earth sign, which means that even though we want to change, even though we need to make some changes to our daily lives, our routines, relationships, and money matters, we're hesitant to actually do that. Of course, Leo energy is a fixed sign, Taurus energy is a fixed sign, and right now we're having a hard time breaking away from the old in order to kind of spice things up with the new. We are kind of having a little bit of a hardship in recognizing where it is that we are essentially blocking ourselves by holding on to the old attachments, and where it is that we're being frustrated with the lack of progress, but not realizing that we got to get out of our own damn way in order to see some movement, to see some change, to see some transformation. The moon in Leo will sextile beautiful energy with Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, money, in this Gemini energy, all up in the mental plane, trying to figure out what we are going to change, what we are going to implement, what we need to do to spice things up. Of course, the Gemini energy has us very divided. We're looking at two very different paths, different decisions, different lives, different realities. And it all comes down to what is going to make us happy. What is going to bring the most joy? What is going to bring the most pleasure to our day-to-day lives? What is going to bring the most security to our lives? Safety and stability, of course, not only in our emotions and relationships, but in our money matters, in our routines as well. The moon in Leo kind of meshing and blending energies with Venus at this time is definitely pushing us to be a little bit bold and brave and courageous, to try something new, to let go of the old, to deviate away from the old path, the old direction, to see if the grass is greener on the other side. Of course, we won't know until we take action, actually make some changes to see how that vibration and frequency actually aligns with who it is that we now are. The moon in Leo will wrap up the day with a positive interaction with Neptune. So we started off the day with Neptune in a not so nice situation. We're going to end the day off with a blending of energies, which means that we're tapped into our intuition. We're reminding ourselves of the dream and vision that we want to manifest, and we're heart aligned with it. That Leo energy makes us very passionate, makes us very forthcoming with what it is that we want to pursue from here. And this Neptune in Pisces energy, very dreamy, very imaginative, very connected to our higher selves, very connected to our intuition, pulling us on a new path, in a new direction, in a new realization on what it is that would actually make our heart the happiest.